A very good day to you and welcome to our program, Family Time. My dear friend, I've got 5 minutes to speak to you and I want to make every word count. The most important thing that we have as believers, the most important responsibility that we have as believers is to talk to God. We need to communicate with God. You know, a lot of people come to me and they've got marriage problems. And it's very sad because normally when they come to me, by that time the marriage is already over. It's like trying to close the stable door, but the horse is already bolted. And you know, often I'll sit down with a couple and I'll say, well, what is the problem, you know? Is there a third party involved? They say, no third party. Well, what is it? No, we've got nothing in common anymore. So sad, eh? And there's children involved, so selfish. Lack of communication. Now, if you are feeling dry as I'm sharing this with you, and you're saying, Angus, it's a long time since I've heard God speak to me in my heart. It's a long time since I've got excited about getting up in the morning and reading the Bible systematically and hearing from God. It's a long time since I've got excited spending time with God. What is the problem? The problem is lack of communication. You are not praying. You are not coming aside and be separate. Look what it says in Psalm 91 verse 1. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 2. And I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, and in Him will I trust. When you start to communicate with God, which is actually prayer, you'll find that depression, anxiety, fear, that panic mode that you get into will go out the window because you're taking your focus off your situation and you're putting your focus on God. Isn't this a beautiful place, this forest? There's not a soul here today except the cameraman and myself. I can hear the wind whistling through the trees. Sometimes I sit quietly and it's like, Lord, it's just you and me. And you know, my spirit quietens within me. I start to think rationally. I'm not getting in a panic mode. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. No. And I settle down. You see, sometimes prayer happens without you saying a word. That's right. You communicate with God in your spirit, with His Spirit. You just sit there and listen. You see, it's one of my biggest problems. I speak too much. That's why I always get into trouble. And I don't listen enough. But as one man said, you've got 2 ears and only one mouth. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak. Some of us have got to stop speaking and go into the closet. Now that might be, you might live in a city. You're saying, I don't have a beautiful place like this. Go into a quiet room. I've heard some people go to the bathroom just to have a bit of peace and quiet. Go for a walk in the park. Sit in your motor car. But you need to have a place that you can call your own that is between you and God. I want to reassure you, it's not your surroundings that make your prayer place perfect. It's your heart. You see, John Wesley was an Anglican priest, and he, through the power of the Holy Spirit and teaching from his mother, literally turned the world upside down. His mother's name was Susanna, and she used to pray every morning and have her quiet time, and she had 18 children. Poor woman. 18 children. I think John Wesley was number 16 or 17. His brother, Charles Wesley, the hymn writer, was right behind him. He said, I would sit there and mother would sit in front of the fire and take her apron and throw it over her head. When she did that, all of us children knew that mother was speaking to God and we had to keep quiet, not one word. Folks, I want to tell you, it doesn't matter where you are. Relate, speak to Jesus, and your life will be transformed. Goodbye.
We trust that you have been blessed by today's message. For more information, please visit angusbuchan.com.